Assalamu alaikum. I'm Tuli Komolika Das, welcoming you all to news at 5 p.m. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus will leave for New York tonight to attend the 80th United Nations General Assembly UNGA. The Chief Advisor will reach New York on September 22nd and address the UN General Assembly session on September 26th. Professor Yunus is scheduled to return home on October 2nd. Earlier on September 17, Foreign Affairs Advisor Muhammad Tawhid Hussain at a briefing said that 4 political leaders will join the Bangladesh delegation this year. They are BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir, BNP leader Humayun Kabir, Jamaat-e Islami Naibi Amir Said Abdullah Muhammad Tahir, and National Citizen Party NCP leader Akhtar Hussain. In his speech, the Chief Advisor is expected to reflect on the government's activities over the past 1 year and reaffirm the interim administration's commitment to restoring democracy through reforms and free and fair elections slated for February next year, Tawhid Hussain said. He also said this year's UNGA is especially significant for Bangladesh, as on September 30th, the UN will host for the first time a high-level conference on the situation of Rohingya Muslims and other minorities in Myanmar. Key organizer of the July movement and NCP convener Nahid Islam has demanded that the Awami League be permanently banned through trial, not only banned by executive order. He made the remarks today while speaking to journalists after testifying in the Crimes Against Humanity case over the July-August uprising against Sheikh Hasina and 2 others. The testimony and cross-examination took place at International Crimes Tribunal 1, headed by Chairman Justice Muhammad Ghulam Murtuza Majumdar. 2 other members of the tribunal are Justice Shafiul Alam Mahmood and Justice Mohitul Haq Inam Chaudhry. The other accused in the case are former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal and former IGP Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun. So far, the tribunal has completed testimony and cross-examination of 48 out of 81 witnesses. While briefing journalists, Nahid Islam said the evidence of crimes against humanity during the July-August uprising that has emerged before the tribunal is sufficient for the Awami League to face trial as a political party. Meanwhile, International Crimes Tribunal 2 today completed the 6th day of witness testimony in the case filed over the killing of Abu Said, a Begum Rokeya University student and the first martyr of the July-August uprising. Former Begum Rokeya University Vice-Chancellor Hasibur Rashid and 29 others were accused in the case on charges of crimes against humanity. The tribunal, led by its chairman Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhry, began the day's proceedings in the morning. July fighter Sayam Hussain Ayan gave his deposition before the tribunal today. Earlier in the day, former IGP Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun and 8 others were produced before the tribunal in these 2 separate cases. Mahalaya, one of the most revered days in the Hindu calendar, marks the descent of goddess Durga to earth. For Bengalis, it officially kicks off Durga Puja celebrations. Mahalaya is being observed today across Bangladesh. The festive spirit has already gripped the country. Shopping is in full swing ahead of Durga Puja, with families thronging shopping malls and marketplaces to share the joy of the Sharodiyo Durga Puja. Shopping malls and markets in the capital are abuzz with customers. While crowds remain relatively thin in the morning, shopping pressure rises significantly from the afternoon onward. Special discounts and offers are being offered on new clothes, jewelry, gift items and home decor products to mark the festival. Shoppers said that buying new items is an essential part of the Puja celebrations. This shopping frenzy surrounding Durga Puja is expected to continue over the next few days, keeping both buyers and sellers in a festive mood. Within the next 30 years, the Maheshkhali and Matarbari areas of Cox's Bazar could transform into hubs similar to Singapore or Shanghai in China. For this, the government is moving forward with a long-term development plan centered on these regions. The goal is to build one of the country's largest commercial centres in Moheshkhali, Matarbari, focusing on 4 key sectors: deep sea port and logistics, manufacturing industries, energy and power, and fishing and processing. The special authority, named the Moheshkhali Integrated Development Authority, MIDA, has already been established. The new authority is led by Ashiq Chaudhry, Executive Chairman of the Bangladesh Investment Development Authority (BIDA), as its chairman, with Commodore Tanzim Farooq and Sarar Alam as members. The Matarbari port has a natural depth of about 18.5 meters, enabling large vessels to dock directly. This is a major improvement compared to Chattogram, where smaller ships and multiple stages of cargo transfer are required. With these developments, the port's capacity is expected to increase by nearly 50% within the next 30 years. According to a survey by the Japan International Cooperation Agency (JICA), the region could attract 60 to 65 billion US dollars in investment over the next 20 to 30 years, creating employment opportunities for around 2.5 million people. Students will receive new textbooks in January of the upcoming academic year, announced Finance Advisor Dr. Salahuddin Ahmed. He shared this information while speaking to journalists after a meeting of the Advisory Council's Committee on Public Procurement at the Secretariat today. The advisor said that a decision on who will be entrusted with printing the new textbooks will be taken within this month. He further added that those who had allegations of irregularities in the book printing process in previous years will not be given printing responsibilities this year. The Anti-Corruption Commission (SEC) has recovered 23 sacks of documents related to the former Land Minister Saifuzzaman Chaudhry's assets and money laundering abroad from Chattogram. The documents were recovered early this morning from the Kornopuli area. According to the SEC, on September 16, Ilyas, the driver of Saifuzzaman's wife Rukmila Zaman, took the documents from an industrial facility of Aramit Group to his own house. Later, on September 18th, just before an SEC raid, he moved the documents to the nearby house of Usman Talukdar. The documents were finally recovered from that house in the early hours today. The SEC further stated that an initial review of the documents revealed information about 582 assets in the UK, USA, Dubai and Singapore, as well as properties in India, Thailand, Malaysia, the Philippines and Cambodia. Additionally, the documents include details of purchased houses at home and abroad, rental income, maintenance expenses and other property-related information. They also reportedly contain evidence of Saifuzzaman Chaudhry's foreign currency laundering. We now move on to the international news. Sir Keir Starmer is expected to announce the UK's recognition of a Palestinian state in a statement this afternoon. The move comes after the Prime Minister said in July the UK would shift its position in September unless Israel met conditions, including agreeing to a ceasefire in Gaza and committing to a long-term sustainable peace deal that delivers a two-state solution. It represents a major change in British foreign policy after successive governments said recognition should come as part of a peace process and at a time of maximum impact. The move has drawn fierce criticism from the Israeli government, hostage families and some conservatives. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu previously said such a move reverts terror. However, UK ministers argue there was a moral responsibility to act to keep the hope of a long-term peace deal alive. Government sources said the situation on the ground had worsened significantly in the last few weeks. They cited images showing starvation and violence in Gaza, which the Prime Minister has previously described as intolerable. Israel's latest ground operation in Gaza City, described by a UN official as cataclysmic, has forced hundreds of thousands of people to flee. Earlier this week, a United Nations Commission of Inquiry concluded Israel had committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, which Israel denounced as distorted and false. The Israeli forces are desperate to completely empty Gaza City. The intensity of the attacks is increasing day by day. The savage Israeli army and air force make Gaza tremble like an earthquake with their incessant shelling and bomb explosions. As night falls, the intensity of that terrifying earthquake becomes even more dreadful. Residents of Gaza City have reported that every night it feels like they are shaking from an earthquake. Because Israeli soldiers are using remote-controlled explosives to blow up house after house and residential buildings, residents complain that the soldiers have left them no alternative. They are being forced to leave their homes amid continuous shelling and attacks from quadcopters. Most residents are running south on foot. Meanwhile, the United Nations has allowed Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to deliver a speech via video. With this goal in mind, a resolution was passed by a large majority in a vote held in the United Nations General Assembly on Friday. As a result, President Abbas will be able to participate via video in the annual conference of world leaders taking place next week. In the Israeli aggression in Gaza, at least 91 Palestinians have been killed in a single day. Among them, 76 lost their lives in Gaza City itself. Since October 7, 2023, a total of 65,208 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks on Gaza. Amid tensions in the Middle East, the Iran-backed Shia armed group of Lebanon has called on Saudi Arabia on Friday. At the same time, Naim Qassem proposed to improve relations with Riyadh. In a speech broadcast on television on Friday, Qassem said regional powers should see Israel as the main threat to the Middle East, not Hezbollah. In a significant overnight aerial assault by Russia, at least 3 people have been killed and over 30 injured in Ukraine. This information was provided by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in a post on social media. President Zelensky wrote that Russian forces have simultaneously carried out extensive attacks in various regions of Ukraine, including the capital Kyiv as well as Odessa, Sumy, Zaporizhia and Poltava. Residential areas and civilian structures have been targeted. The Ukrainian Air Force has reported that Russia has launched an attack across Ukraine by firing 619 missiles and drones. Meanwhile, the Russian Ministry of Defense has stated that the Russian forces used precision weapons in a massive attack. These attacks were primarily aimed at military and industrial facilities. In other news, Russian authorities have reported that 4 people have been killed in a Ukrainian drone attack in the Samara region of the country. Kyiv claims that they attacked a significant oil refinery center in Russia. Ukrainian authorities have reported an attack on another oil refinery in Russia located in the Saratov region. There has been a long-standing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin launched a full-scale war in Ukraine in February 2022. Despite several attempts by the United States and European countries, the ongoing war in Ukraine has not stopped. United States President Donald Trump has threatened Afghanistan with unspecified consequences unless it gives back control of the Bagram Air Base to Washington. The vague threat on Saturday came a day after the Taliban-controlled government rejected Trump's call to return the sprawling air base located some 64 kilometers from the Afghan capital, Kabul. If Afghanistan does not give Bagram Air Base back to those that built it, the United States of America, bad things are going to happen, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform. Bagram, a sprawling complex, was the main base for U.S. forces in Afghanistan during the 2 decades of war that followed the September 11, 2001 attacks in New York and Washington by Al-Qaeda. Thousands of people were imprisoned at the site for years without charge or trial by U.S. forces during its so-called war on terror, and many of them were abused or tortured. The Taliban retook the facility in 2021 following the U.S. withdrawal and the collapse of the Afghan government. 4 Army soldiers are believed to be dead after a Black Hawk helicopter crashed near a military base in Washington state late Wednesday evening, according to a spokesperson from the U.S. Army Special Operations Command Public Affairs Office. The U.S. Army Special Operations Command confirms that the 4 soldiers assigned to the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment involved in the September 17 aircraft mishap are believed to be dead, the spokesperson said in a statement on Friday. The identities of the 4 service members have not yet been released. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us. We invite you to watch our next Bangla News Bulletin. Until then, Allah Hafiz.